welcome back to your Toeic speaking class. For this video, we're going to be focusing on the intonation with transition words. Remember that the Toeic speaking test is composed of 11 questions, and questions 1 and 2 is focused on the task of reading a text aloud. You're going to be scored based on your pronunciation, intonation, and stress. Intonation with transition words. Analytical scoring guidelines for intonation and stress. 3. Speaker's use of emphasis, pauses, and rising and falling pitch is appropriate to the text. 2. Speaker's use of emphasis, pauses, and rising and falling pitch is generally appropriate to the text, though the response includes some lapses and/or moderate other language influence. 1. Speaker's use of emphasis, pauses, and rising and falling pitch is not appropriate, and the response includes significant other language influence. 0. No response, or response is completely unconnected to the stimulus.
Unit 7, Test Tactic
For Unit
A.
7, Focus B, Part
Although
A.
this
In
beautiful
this part of
house
the
was
test,
damaged by
the text
fire
you read
in
aloud will include a transition
1962,
word.
Lyle
Make
had
sure
it
you are familiar with the
completely
common
rebuilt.
intonation pattern for transition words. Listen to the sentence and repeat. Try to imitate the intonation used by the speaker.
Unit 7, Test Tactic A.
Although this beautiful house was damaged by fire in 1962, Lyle had it completely rebuilt.
Remember that each paragraph will contain at least one transition word, like because, although, also, until, however, or the other transition words. These show how the clauses in a sentence relate to each other. Transition words that appear at the beginning of a sentence or following a comma are often marked by a rise in intonation. Unit 7, Focus B, Part B. Read sentences 1 to 4 aloud and mark the intonation of the words in bold. Then listen, repeat, and check your answers.
Unit 7, Test Tactic B. 1.
Until further notice, the slow train to Maine will be canceled.
2.
The main entrance will be closed over the weekend. However, staff will be able to gain access through the side gates.
3.
You shouldn't call the technician unless there's a problem with the system.
Unit 7, Test Tactic B.
Because the
1.
museum is closed
Until
for
further
refurbishment
notice,
at the moment,
the slow
we
train
won't
to
be able
Maine will
visit
be
it during our
canceled.
stay.
Again, mark the intonation
2.
of the words in bold.
The main entrance will be closed
Listen,
over the weekend.
repeat, and
However,
check your
staff will
answers.
be able to gain access through the side gates.
3.
You shouldn't call the technician unless there's a problem with the system.
4.
Because the museum is closed for refurbishment at the moment, we won't be able to visit it during our stay.
Unit 7, Focus B, Part C. Read the paragraph and underline the transition word. Then divide the paragraph into thought groups and mark the pauses.
Unit 7,
If
Test
you're a Minds
Tactic
student, you may
C.
check your Google
Follow
Classroom
up.
for the file.
To the left of the bus, we can see the home of the famous movie star, Lyle Randleman.
Now let's listen to a native
Although this
speaker
beautiful
read the
house
text
was
and see
damaged
and
by
check your
fire in
answers.
1962,
Unit 7,
Lyle had it
Test
completely
Tactic
rebuilt.
C. Follow
A
up.
new wing decorated in Italian marble, teak from Indonesia, and Canadian redwood was also added at this time. Although this beautiful house was damaged by fire in 1962, Lyle had it completely rebuilt. A new wing decorated in Italian marble, teak from Indonesia, and Canadian redwood was also added at this time.
Again, underline the transition word, then divide the paragraph into thought groups and mark the pauses. Unit 7, Focus B, Part D. Read paragraphs 1 and 2, and mark the pauses and stressed words. If you're my student, you may check your Google Classroom for the file. Paragraph 1. Remember to find the transition word, the list, and the question if there is one. Remember how you should pronounce these, and you can look back at the previous videos for help if necessary. Unit 7, Focus B, Part D. Paragraph 2. Remember to find the transition word, the list, and the question if there is one. Now read the paragraph. Test techniques. Do not rush, keep a steady pace, and pause at commas and periods. Do not pause in the middle of thought groups. Think about which words to stress and how to say the unstressed words. Watch for transition words and use an appropriate intonation.